Hey there viewers, my name is Torinski and welcome back to another Sunday stream. Today we're going to be jumping right back into Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup where we left off with our buddy GrEE here. We had just collected our first two runes, gotten both of the S branches, I guess is what I was trying to say. Brain tripped up a little bit on me. But just got our first two runes, and then we have a bit more exploring to do. The general dungeon area. Maybe we'll brave Orc 1 and see if we're strong enough now to take out Jorgrun without having to worry too much about the fact that we're made of stone, and he's very good at making that shatter apart. Otherwise, yeah, more dungeon to explore, and then it will be time to decide on what third rune we're going to be willing to go for here. Hey Paul, how's it going? But yeah, it's a tough choice when you're going for just 3 runes and you just want to get that win. Picking which of the base level, the 5 like kind of early game runes, I guess, is what I'd say. The 2 S branches are almost always going to be there, and then it's, yeah, between the Abyss. Oops, let's not finger the camera by accident. We have 2, and then there's the Abyss, there's Slime, or there is, why am I blanking on this? Vaults. And so depending on what kind of character you have, those 3 can be a bit hit or miss on whether you'll feel safe going through it. At Slime, we have to definitely have corrosion resistance, which I do believe we have a couple different sources. And we also need to be able to take a pretty big fight against the Royal Jelly at the end. And that's definitely something you want to have a bit of a plan going into. And I don't love doing it on melee fighters. Casters, not too bad. But generally, you want a lot of AoE damage on your casters. Or at least I do. I usually like Ignition or some kind of flame wizard. And then lastly, Vaults. Secondly, Vaults is an interesting choice as well, because most of it isn't too bad. It's very similar to the depths levels of the dungeon, but Vault 5 specifically, you definitely, again, have to be prepared to take on a whole lot of really strong monsters and draw pretty much the entire floor to you, or do some creative plan work in there. Lastly, there's the Abyss, which is kind of the chaotic choice of them all. So sometimes it can be really easy, go super smoothly. Other times you can get mutated to Kingdom Come and turn your entire run into a bit of a hot mess. So we'll probably do some bit more exploring, try and get some more experience under our belt, and then we'll have to make that decision. Yeah, Paul. Good, chilling to see. Yeah, I saw the links you sent me. I haven't watched the videos yet, but I do want to check them out for sure. Especially, yeah, the second one, the Nethack game you're talking about. Definitely on the list, but been a pretty crazy week for me, so unfortunately not a lot of time to actually do much. I'll have to catch up on that. But back to the game here. What do I want to do? So, as always, go through my memory refresher stuff here. So yeah, dungeon overview is always good. Definitely get the shift 5 to see how our resistances are doing, especially will, because now we're getting at the point of the game where it's more and more likely that we'll find people that can send us to the Abyss, and we don't want to be sent there when we're not prepared to be. So have to keep that in mind to make sure our will is high enough to counter anything that it risks that for us. What else have we got here? Let's see our spells. Right, Bolt of Magma. The Hoodib's Crystal Sphere still ways off, but we should still be able to get that castable within this game. That doesn't help us a whole lot with the AoE that I wanted to be able to deal. So we'll have to see what kind of options crop up in that regard. We also do have some evocables though that we could try leveling up a bit, especially the Condenser Vein is supposed to be amazing at AoE, I'm pretty sure, with those clouds, so maybe we'll have to try that out. After playing many short test runs for DCS 2 days ago, played another more serious match and made it through to Lair, then Orc 2, then died. All in all, a good match. And again, 60,000 points total. Nice. I'm always happy, yeah, as long as runs have enough time that you get to feel them out a little bit. Like, I know, I guess I either want to die within like the first 2 levels of the dungeon, so I'm not at all invested in the character, or I want to die, yeah, after lair somewhere, because I like the process of getting through a lot of lair, and or it can be a lot of fun too. So definitely satisfying even to get that far. And here's to hoping that we don't immediately throw this run away, because I'm always worried whenever I come back to this that I'm just going to immediately die in some stupid way, because it can definitely happen. Mistakes can definitely be made, but let's try not to. So we'll use Control G and we shall head. We'll just go out to the dungeon for now, I think. Could still probably take on Jorgrun at this point, but there's no real need to. Dungeon 12 shouldn't be too bad. We have a source of Seeing Visible here, and that's something that we do want to have on us just in case there are a couple monsters that could show up that are a pain in the butt if you don't have that. But here goes. This is where monsters, yeah, start to get a little uglier, I was gonna say, and what a perfect beast to show up. So let me double check here, because I have my macros set up to have these first 4 spells easily castable, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me switch out which is in the 1 slot, because we're never really using Sandblast anymore. But on this buddy, let's just Iron Shot that buddy to heck. Perfect. Then we can go back to exploring pretty freely here. I'm gonna maybe start fighting a few more of the weaker enemies, since now that we're back in the dungeon after all the lair branches, we might actually be a bit ahead of most of the monsters here. Not to get too cocky though. Things can definitely still go very wrong. Let's see here. Here I kind of want these buddies to all walk up a little bit, because I want to LRD this wall right here. Trying to get that nice AoE damage in. That should take out most of the whites as well, which means we don't have to worry about getting drained. And then we'll do a similar thing with the Yaki buddies here. Not worry too much about noise, try and draw things to us even. Fight them in this nice little choke corridor. Double check all of these items. +5 greatsword, no thank you. Pretty happy with our spears right now. In fact, do need to remember that I have my Vampiric Trident, which is actually really solid as well. Ooh, other thing that I should have checked coming back. Always check in on the skills, see how things are going here. We're very close to having the shields officially trained up enough for the shield we're using, so that's good. We've probably gone just a little bit too high in Earth Magic. We can kind of afford to do it because this run is so strong, but on the later, like, harder species that we might want to play in the future, we'll definitely have to be a little more careful with how we divvy up experience, because it gets a little more critical. And in fact, I'm actually going to turn off spellcasting for now. I'm probably pretty happy with that. Might instead train up conjurations to, oh yeah, 16, perfect. Try and get Lihudib's Crystal Spear a little more castable, because spells that are a mix of 2 schools take the average of both, so it's easier to bring up the lower level one than just keep trying to pump into this expensive high level one. And then perfect, we have evocations coming on the way, so that is exactly what we were thinking about. I might even do the focused experience gain on evocations and split the majority of the share between those two. And let's just keep it moving here. Vampire shouldn't be too shabby at all. Yeah, Iron Shot is an amazing spell. Ooh, okay, the Cyclops can throw boulders, which will hurt unless we reflect them with our shield, and then they'll hurt him a lot more than they hurt us, which is pretty sweet. But I'm gonna back up here. How did you get poisoned? Oh, the orc must have thrown a poison dart at us, and it got reflected as well. That's pretty great. Well, that buddy's gonna be taken care of by his own hand. Am I just gonna wait here and let you throw rocks at me until you destroy yourself? No, there we go. Stepped into range, finally. Again, the one issue with these earth spells, they're super powerful, but being so short-ranged can often be a pain. Oh, that is a boulder beetle. Okay, when it's some distance from its foe, you know what, let's go to the official. At some distance from its foe, boulder beetle is capable of rolling at high speed, attempting to crash into its target for heavy damage. Interesting. Hi, hey Railbird, how's it going? So let's see what this roll does. Grants the boulder beetle tremendous speed as well as double melee damage. Okay, so I was curious how much damage it does. That's gonna be a lot of damage, 128 before shields and whatnot. Unless, is that already doubled because it's in roll? Nice to see this game being streamed. Yeah, I remember a while back I was just like getting into the game because I always come back to it every few years, and I thought, oh, I've never checked Twitch and didn't see anybody on, so thought it'd be a nice little hole to fill. Okay, I don't know how to dodge this, buddy. Do you play the online tiles version? No, so yeah, right now I'm just playing offline because I like having all this available for the viewers to see on hand, my inventory and stuff, just because otherwise I'm also very, very easily distracted and I forget what I have in my inventory often. So I like having the little visual reminders here. And plus I'm kept honest by streaming it, so I don't need to worry about cheating or anything like that. Okay, I wonder if I can I want to step diagonally up to the right here maybe and see if it rolls past me, because we just got it going this way. I'm curious, the only thing I have that's analogous to this in terms of experience is maybe it's similar to dodging orbs of destruction when they come at you. In which case, I don't like our odds right now. How can I stop you? Too late to petrify. Maybe I don't stop them. Just hit real hard. I'm kind of scared. Have you beat this version already? No, I've not. Yeah, this is actually my second game ever in this version. I've played a lot more of 0.25 recently here, and I just upgraded to experience it here. So boulder beetles, I remember when they used to be in the game a long time ago. Not very well though, definitely don't remember them well. And now that they're re-added, no idea what to expect. So I'm a little scared. A potion of lignification. Because yeah, so that would give me extra health. I don't know, for AC, would it keep even? Maybe even lose a little, because pretty wicked AC. But the extra health would definitely get me enough to survive it. It's an interesting call. I do like potions of lig because so many people stay away from them, but they are really solid panic tools. Maybe I'll trust your advice here since I'm, not familiar with the boulder beetles. Because what else? I could also use something like a fear scroll, right? Pretty high chance of working. If it doesn't work, I guess I just get smacked in the face. It's interesting. Tell you what. Boulder beetles are tough monsters to deal with here. Yeah, wide open area, and I waited too long to start dealing with it. It should have been the second I saw it, like drop a petrify or something. True, fear does work on boulder beetles, just seems like a waste for just one enemy. Right? I'm just a little scared of even legging. Just having the increased health. Because I have no idea what to expect here. And 128 seems pretty heavy, even though I'm wearing decent armor, so have decent damage reduction at the very least. Let us 7 scrolls of fear. You know what? I'm gonna take your word for this, Railbird. I believe. Yeah, we're drinking it. Turn into a tree right before it hits me. Types of spells? Mostly earth magic, bolt magma. But I'm gonna, oh nice, turn into a tree actually makes Lahudibs castable. So I'm probably just gonna try and blast here. And we might take it out before it actually hits us, but it also has decent health. Let's see what happens. We're at 162 health, so it cannot kill us. Oh wow, kind of just bounced off of our roots, hey? Oh, and there's confirmation for what I thought. We went down just a little bit in AC, turning from a stone armored golem or gargoyle into a tough barked tree. But nice. definitely worked out and can save the rest of our fear scrolls for something a bit scarier in the future. Also, pretty sweet to know that if I change out of my armor, the Hoodibs is totally castable already. That's an interesting thing to note. If I wasn't a gargoyle, on a lot of casters, it's kind of nice to have something like statue form castable, because then you can just wear as heavy of armor as you can while still being able to cast statue form, and the second you cast that, your armor molds into your body and you're able to cast everything else at full capability. You should be able to tank a hit, and then LCS the Boulder Beetle should die. Yeah, no, thanks for the advice there. Definitely was giving it a little too much credit. After it took the hit there, it definitely revealed that I was a little more scared than I could have been. And plus it probably also rolled pretty low. That's the thing about RNG. Never really know. But still glad to be through it in one piece at the very least. And then most of this is going to be a tab fest, and we're almost like we're playing a fighting character now. Don't have to worry about stuff too much. I don't know if I have anything. Yeah, nothing unidentified on me right now. Jeez, inventory is filling up again. Maybe let's just start dropping some of the stuff we don't need on us at the moment. Scrolls of Amnesia might need in the future, but at the moment, I have 8 spell levels left. Nothing that I really want to learn right now. Apportation is... no, mostly just for late game. I'd go for the apportation route. Actually think I'm doing all right in that regard for now. What else? I'm going to drop this dagger. It's about time I cleared up a bit of this inventory. If I stop using... what's it called? Sandblast, I can drop all these dang rocks finally. Am I officially done with Sandblast? We'll see. Maybe if I don't use it in the next couple floors, we'll drop it from the list here. Last but not least, what else? Let's drop these poison darts. We don't actually need those. I mostly just want the fancy curare for emergencies here. And let's just get moving. We keep just pressing tab here without having to worry too much. Ooh, maybe a bit less so here. Let's not take too many turns getting slammed in the face, even though again with reflection shield I almost feel sorry for the centaurs in this situation, but oops, no, don't do that. There we go, iron shot's the one, not LRD. And let's just keep it rolling. It's almost a really nice break if you're able to clear the layer like S branches. Once you go back out to the dungeon after that, things feel real nice and easy. So here's something invisible. Let's see, I'm guessing, or curious at the very least, if this is an ugly thing. Which of these rings do I take off? Don't think it matters too much. Let's take off the Ring of Darkness. Or an Unseen Horde. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, permanently invisible enemies that jump around like crazy. Don't want to have to fight that without being able to see it most of the time. It can be a pain in the butt. But that's why we bought that ring, just for those buddies, pretty much. And I guess maybe some dangerous vampire buddies we can fight later here. Unseen Horde, most likely, yeah. No, as soon as we get into dungeons 12 through 15, I pretty much always assume that it's an Unseen Horde that we're dealing with here. Oh, poor centaurs. Don't stand a chance. This shield going. But okay. Yeah, nice and smooth. Floor 12, I guess I can double check on skills, see how everything's coming along, mostly smoothly at the very least. Let's see here. I'm gonna LRD the wall to pretty much take out this Eden. Those two-headed buddies are pretty dangerous. They get close to you. And then... I can't believe that worked. I was gonna say, always aim in a line through enemies, so again, if you miss one, you might hit one behind it. And I was almost hoping that the first orc here would dodge it and I'd kill the hasted wizard, and lo and behold. Asking, we're rewarded apparently. Not a second time. That's fine. Well, we should just switch to our pole arm for the cleaning up the chafe here. Vehement offers us knowledge of Firestorm, Shatter, and Absolute Zero. These spells will remain available as long as you worship Vehement. Oh wow, would you look at that? So, let's head upstairs. Because that's going to change things. Shatter is already down to 32%. Wacky. So maybe it's not such a horrible thing that we trained Earth way higher than we should have, earlier than we should have, because we're almost able to cast the highest level spell in that category. It's been too long since I worshipped Vehemet. I forgot that we got guaranteed access to these three. Because I've been trying to run a game with Absolute Zero for a while. Since I got it included, and just haven't gotten around to a run that both got far enough and lucky enough to find the spell. I should just worship Vehemet. Seems so obvious now. But, an important thing for us here, Shatter. Because that will definitely make me feel a bit more comfortable going into Vaults 5 or even fighting the Royal Jelly, because that's huge AoE damage. But for now, doesn't change too much. So let's go back to our exploring. Can curb our excitement for now. Okay. But he's a bit far away. I should just unlearn Orb of Destruction. Maybe I should go back for that Amnesia scroll I just dropped. I think I will. Now that we have all these great Earth Conjuration mixes. Seems like it. Absolute Zero is very powerful, almost guaranteed to one-shot most monsters. Yeah, exactly. I've really wanted to try going through the end game with it, because I'm used to constantly just panicking as I'm fighting the like scary pan lords and stuff in the extended late game. It'd be nice to just take those buddies out like that. Heard it's a lot of fun, so at least I wanted to try it at least once at some point. We'll see. I'm sure I'll get lucky in the future and figure it out. Maybe even on stream here will be a good opportunity for me to witness the power. Ooh, teleported around. Luckily not a bad floor. I was about to say we should try and guess what's in here. It's always some kind of ogre. Sometimes you can find like dragon caves that look like this though. I love the little bits of flavor, but Iron Shot pretty much cleans up anything at these power levels. Like, yeah, even these Centaur Warriors almost one shot. That's pretty solid. Ooh, I don't like fire crabs. Alright, so let's just go over to this buddy. Flaming Cloud is the most painful thing. Just getting surrounded in fire. But we can probably take this buddy out pretty quickly once he's in range. Or they're in range. So double check my resistances. Yeah, we have no resistance to fire. Can I change that? I can take off this ring and then we get RF. I'm gonna do that. That way the crab gets to waste their turn coming close enough just to get hit by me. So, ooh, that was not great. They're hard to hit because they're tiny little crabs, but okay. Turns out, didn't have to worry about the ring, but better to be safe than sorry in this game. Let's use LRD while it has some area of effect damage. Troll armor is intact enough to wear after it got shards of rock just exploded into it. Take your word for it. Ooh, we have no resist corrosion on us, but can probably kill that buddy fast enough. Okay, not the best representation of how scary this part of the dungeon can be for certain characters. It's always rough when you find yourself without the kind of resistances necessary in order to clear through some of the branch floors, or you find really strong unique enemies, the named ones, that you can't get past, and you have to go to this dungeon area sooner than this. It can be a pretty sketchy place. We're breezing through. I'll happily buy health potion, probably buy a haste potion as well, because we have no haste potions, right? We used our only haste potion. We've only found one the whole game so far. So let's buy both haste potions. Nice little panic button for a really scary fight. And we have tons of curing, so won't worry too much about that. Good to note though, by holding shift and hitting the letters that are listed, we can keep stuff annotated for maybe buy this in the future. If we ever need curing potions, maybe. If we ever need ambrosia, it'd be handy to have. Alright, I'm probably just gonna let whoever's seen me come this way. Always best to let enemies come to you if you can. And then here's where, okay, take one step closer, Tengu. Perfect. This is also what we wanted to set up here. Just blow everything away real quick, no problems whatsoever, so we can keep going. Ooh, we fell into a shaft and drop a floor. Still just down to Dungeon 14, so this point of the game, or at this point in the game, not that scary to get shafted. Even though that could have been a very different story if we were in depths, or especially if we were in Zot, the final section of the game, but I guess that's not possible yet. I need the runes first for that. I always forget how the game works order-wise, but that's what I always do anyway. Oh wait, definitely ignore those. Yes. Inventory constantly full, because I'm bad at inventory management. Take out skellies, no problem. And then vampires. Okay, vampires can turn invisible, so it's ready to switch over to our other ring there. But okay. We just picked up Spellforged Servitor. So this is a pretty solid spell. Summons a little buddy that can cast spells from your library. And I think there's a list that is under it. In fact, I wonder if I go to describe, does it tell me the list? Or is it all back end? It's all back end somewhere. But yeah, it goes through the list and like by priority, the first one that you have learned it will cast. So this one would cast the Hudib's Crystal Spear, which is a pretty powerful minion to bring along, especially since it won't cost us mana for our Spellforged Servitor to be launching those. So this is something that I definitely, or especially if we're going into the extended late game, I like to pick them up because they're really mana efficient and they do a lot of damage. I like Servitor, and you also have LCS, which is really nice. Exactly, yeah. Deals a lot of damage without costing you the 8 mana every time. That's definitely, yeah, in the few extended late game runs I've done it with casting classes that had a Servitor going. Okay. Time to clear inventory a bit. We can just identify this potion. Finally, we found a potion of magic in case we really need mana in the future. So it's definitely a good panic button for us to have around specifically. And then Ring of Fire, probably don't care about that. So just to get it off the auto pickup list, I'll pick it up and toss it back down. And Mutation Potion, we can probably leave here for now and just pick it up in the future if we need it. Hopefully we won't, but usually there comes a time when you're mutated a bit more than you'd like to be. We'll see. Just looking at my inventory here. Oops. Wand of Polymorph is interesting. This is an item that I almost never like to use because you run the risk of turning something into a very scary other monster. Because it's based on hit dice, or at least it used to be, I don't know. Never know if things have been changed since I was last familiar with the ideas. But the one reason why I do like to keep them around is because if you run into shapeshifters, you can use these wands to force them to change, and it always works. There's no chance of failure. So I'm tempted to hold on to them for that reason, but I also know that in about a minute here, maybe 2 minutes, I'm gonna find myself with a full inventory and needing to find something to throw out. Did that invisible thing see me? I don't think the invisible thing saw me. Oh, there we go. Now it has. Now it's falling on us. It's when this starts happening, you're just running away and you're being smacked around. It can be really hard to notice. I've definitely, back in the early days, I used to die just because I wouldn't pay attention and I'd just keep running away. But let's go into this hallway and let's switch out this ring for this. Oh, there are 2 unseen horrors. Would you look at that? Hey, buddies. Not so bad ones to take them out. And look, a shapeshifter. So we may have ended up using that fancy polymorph trick if something really scary had spawned out of that. Never really know. If you have a evocation skill at least 7, they're decent against boulder beetles. Ooh, that's a good point. I guess a lot of... It's pretty much all the monsters, yeah, that have like a unique ability that really hampers you. Because I could see, even if I wanted to get rid of like a spellcaster that has LRD or some other type of thing like that. Oh my gosh. So, speaking of mutations a moment ago, here's a shining eye. That's really fun to see at this point in the dungeon here. So upon turning this corner, it saw us and got its attack in. So our connection to magic feels subdued. If we shift A, spells are a little easier to cast, but a little less powerful. Kinda crummy, a little bit. But the advantage there is how close are we to casting Shatter? Wait, worse than we were before. What happened? What changed? Oh, I'm not wearing my int +6 ring. That'd be it. Oh, I was worried something horrifying had happened in the background. But once we switch back to our main ring, that should go down a decent chunk. Maybe? I'll have to see. Back to the matter at hand. This is unfortunate because all of our spells not quite able to reach. If it was right next to these walls, that's an easy hit. I probably... Wow, that seems a bit out of depth, the Shining Eye at D14, right? Can shapeshifters turn into Shining Eyes? I'm curious if it's a shapeshifter. But I don't know if they can. Because I agree, it's a bit rough. We immediately got mutated. So I think I'm going to just start running away around this corner. Yeah, and get it to come to us. Because now... Yeah, I think it might have been a shapeshifter. And that might be the same monster. Still very unfortunate. Very unlucky. But let's see. Actually, I should probably check this just to... Yeah, we're at pretty low will. But not a huge chance to get paralyzed and stuff, so... I feel comfortable blasting through. Yeah, the Great Orb of Eyes changes into a Hydra. Fun stuff. Double check here. Let us maybe do a Petrify. Not great odds. Maybe I should just keep blowing up the walls, hey? Yeah, I can take this buddy out. There we go. Heard a deep, loud croak. I forget what monster that is. Oh, if it's just the bullfrog, then we're actually okay. But oh boy, that was definitely interesting. Oh, and it was guarding the vaults. So I think it was a pack of shapeshifters guarding the vault entrance here that I was dealing with. Definitely makes sense why they're a little bit stronger. It's always these entrance vaults that have the welcoming retinue here. Do you have Fulminant Prism spell available? I don't believe so. Don't recall seeing it at all. No, and I don't think Behemoth has offered it either. But up until very recently, I was very much focused fully in the earth magic rather than the conjurations, and just since getting Iron Shot and that good stuff later in the game, managed to start heading this direction. Let's test out this staff. Staff of Fire, we can just drop that buddy on the floor there. Skeletal Warriors, let's just Iron Shot these buddies, try and take them out pretty quickly, even though, oh right, we have RN +3, at least RN +3, I think we have RN +4, which is ridiculous. I like to use Prism to block mutating monsters, then LRD to target them. Nice, yeah, because yeah, all of the mutators are just line of sight, right? So that definitely is a good plan. I think, oh, the spell's probably gone by this version, right? I think they got rid of Summon Butterflies, did they? Because we got the summoning book. It's back in previous versions to this one, that was my go-to. So that the second you saw a mutator, yeah, you just pop butterflies all around you and they can't mutate you through the cloud. Works out pretty well. We will pick up this armor, and I feel pretty safe here. Let's just wear ID that. Nothing too impressive, especially since we invested a lot of skills in order to be wearing this heavy armor and slinging our spells. Yeah, Butterflies is gone in 0.261. Yeah, that makes sense. It was essentially a scroll of fog, except you could see through it and you just couldn't cast through it, and it blocked enemies. Like, it was amazing. You've been playing since version 0.19. Nice. I have like no frame of reference anymore for the different versions. If you had a year, or you remember what year you started, I might kind of remember which version that was. But besides some big changes from when I first started to the more recent ones, I have a hard time remembering exactly which features were added when. And I don't feel too bad about it because there are a lot of features going in and out and changing their ways. Okay. On the topic of inventory management here, let's take a bit of proactive approach to this now. We no longer need to pick up amulets of regen. So let's say no to that. Rings of Dex? Nah. Rings of Fire? Never. Rings of Protection? Probably not. If we wanted them, we have a couple sitting around back home. Rings of Protection? No, we have one on us. Resist Corrosion? The same. We have one sitting for us in Lair. Willpower? Tempted to keep that available just because our willpower kind of sucks. Or will. What else? Wand of Flame? Don't need to pick that up in the future. Definitely don't need random effects. That should be good. And keeping it moving here. Most of this stuff I like to keep a bit more manual as to what scrolls I have on me, so I have an idea of how many like enchant scrolls are lying around the dungeon, that sort of thing. So we'll keep that. No potions of Berserk Rage in the future. Not too much else to change up. No more boomerangs. We'll just say no to darts. Don't need more stones. And then yeah, for each of these that we already have, we want to turn this off because they recharged the one that we hold. So no point in holding around multiple because both get spent. What about this? Yeah, okay, see, again, in the version I'm used to, 2.25, this was not one that became inert, and you could stack Phantom Mirrors. So that's interesting. Good to know. Double checking our skills here because it's been just a little bit. Again, Shields is so close to hitting that no penalty. I'm probably happy to leave it here and start training something else, but I like to get to the nice round numbers, so let's let that keep going. What else? Conjurations is going up. That's fine. I do have to think about what was it? Finding some armor lying around that's a little lighter, but also effective. Because I wouldn't mind being able to cast some of our higher level spells, like Lehudib's Spear and all that, a bit more freely here. It's interesting. Maybe we won't worry about it too much right now. We'll just keep rolling through most of these buddies. This, to me, this green thing, I'm guessing that's the entrance to depths. Much like the entrance to vaults we found earlier, the depths foyer can be quite intimidating sometimes, so we'll want to be just a little bit careful of that. Knobbly ring, eh? Let's just drop this, pick this up. Oh, doesn't matter. Magical power, hey? More mana? Probably not going to be necessary for us, so we won't worry too much about that. Ooh, Agnes. Okay, it had been too long since we came across a named elite. Interesting. Agnes can be scary for sure. She's pretty squishy, but extremely evasive, really hard to hit, and hits very fast as well with her Latijang. Fortunately, it's venom, and we're made of stone, so that won't be too bad. Most other species, even with resistance, would have a hard time against Latijang of venom hitting that quickly. I like to collect extra jewelry items just in case I encounter a portal and I enter to get all the loot from the portal branches. I can leave duplicates in the branches. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I think even earlier this run, I may have run into that issue. I'm really bad at forgetting to drop stuff before going into timed portals. Just constantly and consistently making myself, or forcing myself to make hard decisions. But okay, Agnes, let's check things out here. Not really in range of anything. I don't think our Petrify is a good chance. 19%, not a great chance of working. We could launch one out and waste the mana on the slim chance, just waiting for her to get a little bit closer to us so our real hitting spells can actually take off. I always, before I make any rash decisions, just take a brief moment to think if there's anything we should maybe do. Like hasting up, probably not totally necessary. I think we can take Agnes here. It's just going to be a bit tough. Might have to throw a net at her. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. So instead of that small chance of that spell working, I instead want to throw a net. Because if we can net Agnes, she's no longer quite as comfortable dodging us. So not a great chance of hitting. We're bad at throwing, and again, she's good at dodging in the first place. But if it works, 31% chance to hit is better than 19. So we can see in the bottom left there. Let's launch it. Nice. Okay. AoE type spell, she gets next to the wall, right? Oh wow, she ripped through that net fast. No, probably should just let her come to us, hey? There we go, yeah. Because yeah, AoE stuff is good against evasive enemies because you can't dodge it if it's just surrounding you. Same with like cloud spells, that kind of thing. Definitely good to keep in mind, like holy. Just being way too cautious, which is probably a good thing. I know in my day I've lost many a good character to not being cautious enough, so I'm not too disappointed about... Oh, there's something invisible next to us. Tried to wait there for a second. You silly unseen horror. Get out of here. But yeah, better safe than sorry for all those things. My book's here, especially since this character was made to just be a good example of an easy way to win the game. So let's try and do so, shall we? Okay, heading towards... So Shift X, I'm gonna move my little cursor over to here. And I'm just gonna exclude this door for now and maybe clear out that little vault area last. Oh, shapeshifter changed into something else. It's always a pain when you waste a whole bunch of mana on a shapeshifter and then when they change forms, they heal. So you're kind of stuck in a bit of a poor spot, but fortunately we're still decently strong. In fact, we're strong enough that when I got shafted and fell down, I totally forgot about it. Never went up to clear that floor that we got shafted out of. Just no problem. Keep going from D15 and see if we care. Okie dokie. Just gonna crawl up here. I think I can crack this. We fought through the vault's entrance all right. Double check. Spells here. Bolt of Magma should be alright. Let's just do this. Oh yeah, elves. This isn't too bad. Or I guess this is like a sorcerer vault. Or like theme. It's kind of cool. I'm tabbing, which I should probably try and kill these buddies. There we go. And we can tab from there. Oh, that's not a wizard. Maybe Necromancer's back there. Ice Elementalist back there somewhere. There's the Necromancer. Oh, right. Forgot about these. So this crystal is amazing for LRD. You know what, let's just blast him. Huge noise, but dealt a lot of damage to anything in the vicinity, I'm sure. Nice. Man, I shouldn't have been scared of this vault at all. I kind of forgot how wicked powerful LRD gets when you have green crystals in the vicinity. But okay, there we go. All through the rest of the dungeon, no problems whatsoever here. Which is good to see. Now, I think... GrEE is pretty strong. I feel pretty comfortable just going straight into depths here and exploring through if we want to. Just kind of keep the momentum going. But we do have an orc waiting to be cleared, and I definitely think we're just gonna destroy Jorgrun before he has a chance to deal too much damage. You know, let's check myself a little bit. Let's not get overconfident. Slow and insidious killer and all that. How many runes have we collected? We have 2, both the S branch runes. And we're probably just going to be going for 3 and then going for the escape here. Kind of a classic example of just straightforward victory was the goal at the very least. Even though I'm always tempted. Usually I like to go with like the 5 basic runes. Because usually if you're strong enough to take out one, on most characters that I play at least, or that I enjoy playing, they're strong enough to fight Vault, Slime, and Abyss pretty easily. So we'll see how things go, but I think just going for a 3rd rune and out. And as for right now, so much crud in my inventory. You know what, let's go up back to Orc here, because we'll take the opportunity to also grab some resources we've left lying around on our way up. Like, we're going to head to this Amnesia Scroll, and we are going to use this to get rid of Orb of Destruction. Was, yeah, very much when we were worried about not getting any of the higher level earth spells we wanted, but since getting Iron Shot, no need for that anymore. So just chuck that buddy out, get a whole bunch of spell slots returned to us. In fact, right, I'm still not wearing this intelligence ring. Wow, Shatters down to 28%. Lahudib's 24%. I kind of want to go back to Earth Magic now. Most of the time, you're not going to be seeing the level 9 spells being cast in a 3 rune game, because you've spent that much experience in the 1 spell school. There's probably a different place where it would have been better off. Shatter isn't totally necessary for just these simple games, but I love that spell, so I kind of do want to hamper myself a little bit defensively, or usually I guess it's like these auxiliary offense skills that you end up sacrificing. I probably don't even really need to be training polearms. I just like to have a well-rounded tool set on us here. Let's take a sip and decide what I want to do skill-wise. Shatter's real fun. You can only cast it 4 times. You know what, we'll get there. We'll get there. We have a lot of experience coming at us in the next couple sections here, so let's not worry too much about it. So next up, having a polearm skill to min delay is worth it, right? It's nice having a backup, especially like if we go into the Abyss, we'll need to have a weapon skill, because running out of mana is way too easy when you're just constantly inundated with enemies from all sides. So it's good to have some kind of backup damage source for sure. So what else here? I guess we can head for another Amnesia Scroll. I can use this enchant armor. You know, in a 3 rune game, I'm using this Kite Shield probably the whole time. So I'm happy to enchant that, get more shielding, get more deflections going on in the future, especially against some of the stronger spellcasting enemies. It's nice to just reflect their giant nukes right back at them. So I'll do that, and then let's find enchant and see. So they're all on our S floors. So we will be grabbing those in a second. So let's see if there's anything else. Oops, go back to Amnesia. Layer 3. Okay, no, we should be all good. I don't think I left anything lying around on the dungeon floors the last little bit here. Yeah, I guess we can head straight for these. I'm gonna go for the enchant scrolls first. Go for it. Because this is kind of, ooh, worker ant that we never took care of. Oh, right, is this, wait, this is where we got shafted, was it? No. Was this where we got shafted? Right. Oh, jumping all over the place, but let's clear this before I completely forget and have a floor on our way up, because at the end of this all, we need to grab the orb and get out of here, so it can be kind of risky to have enemies wandering around on these floors when we don't expect them. We're going to be dealing with enough at the time. So Yeah, I think that that's good at the very least. Let's go back to these enchant. Perfect. Oh wow, all of them. Okay. So first I'm gonna just pick up these and then I'm gonna Arcama to read off the floor. A, Arcama A, Arcama A. Perfect. I'm actually gonna also drop the enchant armor scrolls. This is kind of nice if you don't want to worry about remembering which letters get assigned to every single scroll you have. If you want to read like a full stack, just drop it on the floor like this, and then R, comma is read what's on the floor. Kind of handy. There are also cheaper or easier ways to do this in terms of you can set like similar to how you set macros, you can set actions to be repeated. So I'm pretty sure you can make something just repeat like 5 times, use all your scrolls, but this is a bit more straightforward for me. A bit easier to remember the process. Okay. I think I'm good just doing the shield and then we'll leave everything else as is. Pretty happy there. One more thing. Enchant. One more enchant weapon. Our Vampiric Demon Trident is up to +6 now, which is pretty awesome. We should start using that. Even though it's hard to unequip a +7 intelligence just for the assistance in spellcasting. In fact, that's probably the only reason why we're so close to being able to cast this is because we have +6, what is this, +4? So +17 intelligence off of our items. Everything's kind of clarifying itself and making more sense now. But okay, I think that is pretty much good. Let's go. Oops, go O for orc, and then 0 to just park ourselves at the entrance for now. Let's do this, GrEE. Oops. So Shift X, square bracket to the right to refresh ourselves on what we were leaving down here. At this point, Jorgrun is the only threat, I think. We're a bit stronger than the last time we were here. Let's just head down. All right. So looking at this buddy again. Yeah, LRD is the scary thing. Wow, he actually is real strong. Maybe I should have manually checked this description before heading down the stairs, but we can take Jorgrun here, I think. It's 3d28. Oh boy. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Will AC very low. Yeah, very dangerous unique against a gargoyle. Exactly. It's that LRD that's really gonna get us, because we've pulled that same trick on many an enemy. It's only really fitting. A gargoyle killer. Yeah, exactly. Very. Don't disagree with that. So. What do I feel like doing here? Petrify. Almost no chance of working. Bolt of Magma could be interesting. Let's maybe see some of our power levels here as well, because Iron Shot might just be the more straightforward way to go here. If we can take Jorgrun out quickly enough, then we're not in as much trouble, but the other thing is I'm pretty sure I can, if I turn into a tree, can Jorgrun LRD me? Because it definitely, we lose our armor melts into our body. So it might be something to keep in mind. But it is a turn spent not just murdering him. Or at least part of a turn. So I'm tempted to just go all out here. Gavel says he can petrify you in tree form. That is a good point. That's a will check still though, is it not? Switch to a will ring as well or something. We could still go upstairs. If I want to bail, this is the perfect time for us to just think this through, because if we want to bail, we can still go. So yeah, I do have LCS, but unfortunately not quite castable. I mean, if we turn into a tree, it is, which means we can just hammer a few down, which may kind of sway me towards that side. But this isn't the usual situation that I like to keep Lake Potions around for, so I'm not going to jump to that right away. I'm a bit more tempted to do something like a haste, just so I can launch a whole bunch of attacks in. Yeah, it seems risky. Definitely is. Yeah, it's a bit, that's the fun play, right? When you like find these wacky combos and mechanics that like fold into each other, usually the straightforward answer is the one that actually should be done. I fully agree. I should probably just get out of here. I have a bad sense of my own invincibility. I always think that I'll roll well. I'm feeling lucky all the time, which is really bad. So I guess some that I'm not just petrified here on my end this whole time. Let's see. You can see invisible, right? He's got to be. He cannot see invisible. New plan. I'm turning invisible. Because you cannot LRD, but you can't see. So I think that might actually be the way to go here. It's still debatable whether I should haste as well, though. Regardless, let's start there. I turn invisible. Perfect. Love to see it. Then, maybe while we have... I don't like that you're facing him with a bunch of orcs. I prefer to fight uniques 1v1. Probably for the best. Fortunately, I'm not too worried about the power on these buddies. Definitely a better DCS player or DCSS player would say never let yourself get surrounded. You should always find those optimal fighting situations. Either, narrowing them down to 1v1 fights, or even just getting into a better like corridor, like to our left here. If we had more explored, that's a whole nother bag of beans. But like I said, I don't necessarily always play the best. Sometimes I go a little bit on my instincts, but we're never punished, so let's do it. Bolt of Magma or Iron Shot against you. Kind of blanking. Iron Shot is good or trash against high AC enemies. I know it's an extreme. Should do a little refresher for myself on how a lot of these more subtle mechanics work. Okay, I'm trying to line up where I can get a bunch of these buddies with one magma bolt, but I don't think I'm willing to not hit Jorgren because that's the main target. So I'm gonna just keep launching like this, and that should do it. Yeah, turning invisible, definitely. Oops, don't LRD myself after all that effort. Turn invisible is definitely the play there, I think. Might just be survivorship bias for sure, no doubt about that. But I do like to keep an eye on, like those little things that are different between uniques, because Jorgren is an incredibly strong unique, but unlike most of the other really strong uniques, he can't see invisible, which I always forget until comes in just at the appropriate moment to save our butt. Snorg here is also interesting. She's gonna rage, and that's gonna be scary. Can I petrify you? 50%? Yeah, okay, never mind, we good. I should have been launching LRDs probably while Snorg was closing in, but can't always make the right decisions. Okay, so that wasn't too bad at all. Uniques are a lot less scary when you can just freeze them in place for sure. Though that's not always the case, especially as we get to the late game here. But now let's maybe even switch to our Demon Trident and clean up the chaff here.